So I finally got Joseph to come out and talk to me, purring and wanting some love. He's not really enjoying this much, but I'm gonna miss him so much. We've been together a really long time. And I was thinking about the days that the day that I got him and what went down when I stopped that cat catcher and I rescued his mom and his sister and him, and we had to go through a translator, and then I had my assistant come and help, and we had all these villagers around just watching this crazy white lady pitching a fit, holding on to this metal stick that they use as tongs to get around the neck of the animal so that they don't have to pick up the animals, so that they're like arm's distance, like it's a long metal piece. And I grabbed it and I put my foot on the cage that he was in, and I stood there with those metal tongs, and I threatened to fucking kill him, and that he wasn't going to take those animals. And it was a long time ago, and I don't think I'm any different of a person. I think I've had to let a lot of it go. I've seen a lot of animals that have been for sale for meat, predominantly chickens, ducks, and pigs that are for sale, not cats and dogs. I see relatively quite few of them. And I don't regret it. I love him so much. And I'm glad I did what I did. It was stupid. And the place where I stopped, the guy that lived there, where I stopped this cat catcher in front of this guy's house, he came out and he put a machete to my face, to my throat. And I just held on those metal tongs and I was like, go ahead, motherfucker. What had happened before that whole incident, about 10 minutes before, was I had just put to sleep a kitten who had severe burns and had maggots swimming around in this wound. And there was nothing we could do. I mean, the maggots were inside the abdominal cavity, and we just really didn't have the resources to address something like that. So I had to put the cat to sleep, probably only about 6 months old. And I remember thinking, fuck this. Fuck it all. And I remember that when I took him and his mom and his sister, that I needed something to make up for what had just happened. That somebody had poured it seemed to be like oil or something. It was a bad burn wound, or even just boiling water could have caused it. I don't have the forensic understanding to know the difference between an oil burn and a water burn, but it was definitely a burn wound. And I just remember taking them and thinking, something has to fix what just happened. Something has to make up for it. And I think that's what this whole process of rescue really is. It's this process of, you see, and especially as a vegan, because most animal rescuers are not, they'll happily go get a burger and save a doggy. And that goes for every other rescue organization in the country, except ours, which is fucked. But yeah, I mean, like, to be able to see as much suffering as we do, and not just specifically in Vietnam, but around the world, and to just let it go, knowing that, all we can really do is help some. If you're a direct care person, and I think people don't realize that over time that is sometimes really damaging. And I think I think I'm so lucky to have had Joseph for as long as I have, and that he and I have been together through so many ups and downs, and we've seen so many things, and he's met so many people, some good, some really shitty. And he's got somebody that wants him now, but he's always been wanted, you know. He's never, from the moment he was rescued, he's always been wanted. And I'm really lucky to live a life where that's possible. But I think the thing about rescue is that when they get adopted, it's still loss. I'm never going to see him again. And sometimes it's just really hard when you have an animal for a really long time and they get adopted, and then you know you can't see them ever again. Because they're in another country often, or they're far away or somewhere. And loss is loss. Whether it's death or adoption, I lose them. And I wish I could say it gets easier, but I think like that emotional process never changes for me. I'm gonna miss him a lot. He's a really fucking great cat. He's a good guy. He's just a good guy. He's always been a good boy. And I love him. I love him so much. And somebody else is gonna love him now too. And they're gonna love him just as much as I do. And my greatest hope is that, you know, at his age now, a little over 7, that the rest of his life, that he'll have another 10 years, you know, like if he's going to England, or Wales, he has the potential to live, you know, to almost 20 years old if everything goes well. And that would mean that more than half of his life will be out of an animal shelter and away from Vietnam and away from a place where they were going to eat him. And if I could get that done, then I feel like I've done something. I wish I could do it for thousands and hundreds of thousands of animals, and I can't. So there's part of this that feels like it's a victory for him. It's a loss and a success for me and for the organization specifically. And I wish more than anything I had a greater impact. And the best impact I can have is to prevent animals like Joseph from ending up in the same situation he was. I think we have to work a lot harder to get the message out. Yesterday, a friend of mine has a puppy that her husband said he wanted her to have a litter of puppies first. And I'm going to say I was angry, but what I was fucking inflamed and enraged, and I went absolutely batshit on that man. And yeah, it sort of got a little into the anti-patriarchy talk, because ultimately it's a man saying he wants this little girl dog to have babies because it would be cute. And I don't think anybody who doesn't have a vagina can give that wish to somebody else. Oh, you have to have babies because I think it would be cute. Or maybe you should shoot a fucking puppy out of your dick hole and then we'll talk. But he can't do that. So ultimately I won, and I got a free coffee out of it. Because I don't have really I don't really have a button in me that says, shut the fuck up. So yeah, I mean, ultimately we have to work a lot harder to have sterilization being the centerpiece of this work. And, because what I want to see in the end is a surgical table full of reproductive organs from animals that will never make any more babies, because these babies end up in situations that are horrendous and they should never be in those situations. And the only way to do that is through sterilization. But at the moment, we really just need the money to get on the plane tomorrow. We have, let's see, $600. I have no money to consume food. So coffee will basically be the diet for the next 2 weeks. And like black coffee, I can't even have an oat latte. So I know I'm like, so there goes my fucking privilege. But yeah, I'm just gonna try to like get over these things, and about five hours of driving to take Joseph from Dover to Wales, and I don't really know like what it's gonna be like to drive with severe jet lag while crying the whole time and driving on the left side of the road, but we'll find out, I guess, right? Because our volunteers fell through for the transport. So yeah, I'm going to Wales on Thursday, and I'm missing a conference for which I would get to interact with other people that do my job, and instead I get to continue living a life of complete and total isolation. Super excited about that. I'm gonna ask for a couple of days to just decompress after all of this, because it is hard to do an export, and what makes it harder is that I lose them. And I'm supposed to be happy about it. And I am, but I still lose them. So that's the personal experience of being an animal rescuer and running a shelter in Vietnam. And that's going to be my week. I sure wish we'd get the support to be able to do this and to be able to take care of the animals and the people at home that are doing such a good job to take care of the shelter and those that are still waiting for their forever homes or will never get them. We definitely get a lot less donations for things like that, unfortunately. But let's try.